Hi teachers, my name is Jordan Meinberg, and I'm a secondary education student at the University of Connecticut. I'm particularly specializing in English education. Today I will be discussing Divergent, a book that can be taught in the education classroom. I will give a basic overview of the book and then discuss instructional pairings, supports, and demands. I recommend this novel for 7th to 8th grade students. That's around the time I read it as a student, and I absolutely loved Divergent. Here's an overview of the book. The author's name is Veronica Moth, and the genre is young adult or dystopian literature. Here's what happens. 16-year-old Tris Pryor, who lives in futuristic Chicago, must choose to live in one of the 5 factions: amity, abnegation, erudite, dauntless, and candor. Basically, these are bodies of people that bond together over one character trait. However, when she takes her personality test, she receives a score of Divergent. Basically, it means that she could fit into multiple different categories, and there really isn't a place for her in society. It's also something that's considered dangerous by society. Hiding these inconclusive results, Tris chooses Dauntless. In doing so, she faces trials of many kinds, and she begins to question society, human nature, and her own identity. Some big ideas of this book include conformity, identity, government, courage, family, and power. Here are some instructional pairings that I thought of, but there are probably so many more. First, you could have a dystopian novel unit. You could talk about literature set in a not-so-great world. This includes The Hunger Games, The Giver, The Fifth Wave, and 1984. Also, you could have a conformity versus difference unit, talking about societies and people that prize fitting in versus standing out. This could include The Catcher in the Rye, Stargirl, and Uglies. Moreover, you could have a divergent unit. You could include all of the books in the series. So it would be Divergent, Insurgent, Allegiant, and there's also a spin-off by Veronica Moth called 4, which talks about one of the characters whose name is 4 in Divergent. Also, you could have an identity unit. You could talk about novels where characters call into question who they are and what world they live in. This includes Gabby, A Girl in Pieces, Boy Meets Boy, and The Inexplicable Logic of My Life. I think that Divergent has a lot of supports, which are just things that make it easy for readers to read the novel. First off, it has a Lexile score of 700. It's HL and L, which basically means that it's a high-low book. So while it contains vocabulary that's really accessible for students, it also contains higher-level thinking and themes and big ideas that only older students will be able to understand. That's why it's perfect for 7th and 8th grade, because it'll suit the readers who struggle with vocabulary, but it will also really engage the readers that have those higher-level thinking skills. Also, it contains action, romance, violence, family, and government. And there's something of interest for all readers. You may have a reader who loves a really good love story, and that happens between Tris and 4. However, you also may have a reader who thinks that's gross and prefers violence and gore and excitement, and that will fit in with that reader as well. Also, Divergent is a movie. So if you have readers who are really struggling with these big ideas, or with the setting, or with the characters, they could watch the movie and then read the book afterwards in order to understand the book better. Also, it has a really fast-moving plot, with multidimensional and multifaceted characters. So it's a really quick read. Students will be able to pick up the book and zoom through a chapter because it's really exciting. Also, the characters aren't just good or bad. They're really exciting and interesting to learn about because there's good and bad in all of them. Also, there's colloquial dialogue. So when characters are talking back and forth, it's easy to understand what they're saying, what they're talking about, and what they mean by what they say. However, there are some demands. There are some things that make this book not extremely easy to read. First off, there are some invented ideas, words, and word uses. Because Divergent takes place in a completely non-existent new setting, students may not have the background information in order to understand these big ideas. For example, take the factions. There's abnegation, candor, amity, erudite, and dauntless. These words definitely aren't common usage words. And in order for students to understand the novel, they have to be able to define these words and associate them with those big ideas. Also, there are a lack of images and visual aids. There aren't really pictures in the book, and that could impact students who really rely on images in order to help them read. Lastly, there are some large abstract themes, like I've been talking about throughout the video. There are themes like government and surveillance and family, and those are some big ideas that students may struggle grasping. So as a teacher, it's really important that we are able to scaffold these ideas with our students in order that they may understand them as we continue through the novel. All in all, I definitely recommend Divergent. I think that there are demands of the book, but that the supports really outweigh them. I also think that Divergent is an exciting book and that students will really be engaged in classroom discussion and activities. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful in your future instructional endeavors. Thank you so much for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me at jordan.meinberg@uconn.edu. Have a good day!